Before we go outside and get started with today's video, I just want to say a massive thank you to Blue Wolf, who has made a donation to this channel. It's greatly appreciated, and it's a really big help for me to buy in extra things that I need when I make these videos. So, looks like I've got a few more boxes of fertiliser coming my way this weekend. So, Blue Wolf, thank you very much for that. It's going to be a big help. Now let's go and see what this problem is. I noticed this morning there's something a little odd about the cabbages that were growing in the hoop tunnels. They all look perfectly fine, except one. It seems like it's got a bit of a problem on the top, even though it's pretty much hearted up. There's something not quite right about it. So we're going to have to go down and have a look, because it could be the case if we leave it, we'll lose it altogether. Or it might just be a simple fix, but we won't know that until we get down there. So let's go and have a look. So, as you can see, all these cabbages look perfectly fine. They're a really good size and starting to art up really nice. Except that one. There seems to be a bit of a problem. It looks like it's rotting on top. So we'll get this net off and have a close look. It's got dead leaves along the bottom, which we should have removed already, to be fair. They just attract slugs. And that possibly could be a problem. But it looks like it's splitting and rotting. So I think, looking at that, all we can do is pull this one and hopefully we can strip it back and save something from it. So I've took this up and I've stripped all those big leaves from around the edge, and I'm really not impressed. It looks like it's got infested with slugs. So all we can do with this now is peel back as many layers as we need to and hope we still end up with a small cabbage out of it, because everything on the outside is no good. So I'm just going to cut this stalk off and then we'll take it inside and see if we can actually rescue anything from this cabbage. Well, I've given it a really good rinse because it were proper minging, and it looks like lots of little baby slugs have got inside. So that's a perfect place for them. They can just sit in there and chomp away till there's nothing left. Maybe we can rescue something from it. The only way to find out is to remove all these leaves until we don't see any damage or any bugs. You see that's all rotting away. And if you look right there, there's a baby slug hiding underneath. There's still quite a lot of decaying leaves, so I'm not holding much hope out for this. It's such a shame as well that it's got to the stage where it's hearting up when that happens. So from that huge cabbage that we had, that's what's left now. All the rest has been ruined. But this part of it actually looks quite clean. So it might be usable, although there is still gaps in between these leaves. And the only way you're going to find out if this is still edible now we've removed all that decaying material outside is to take it in the kitchen, chop it up and soak it in salt water. Because if there's anything still inside these leaves, the salt water will force them out. But if nothing comes out, we've saved ourselves a little bit of cabbage from what could have been a complete loss. But basically, what this comes down to is my fault, because when we pulled that plant up, you noticed all those decaying leaves around the bottom, and the maintenance has not been done properly. As these plants mature, the old leaves at the bottom are just going to start and die back and turn yellow, and that is a perfect breeding ground for slugs and snails. So if I'd have been a little bit more on top of cleaning around this plant, this most likely would not have happened. So if you're growing cabbages, cauliflowers, any type of brassica, make sure that you remove those old decaying leaves from underneath, because if you don't, you know now what's going to happen. The other plants seem perfectly fine, but obviously this afternoon, I'm going to have to lift up the entire netting and check every plant to make sure it's completely clean underneath. Otherwise, I could end up losing a whole lot more. So I'm going to take this in house now and see if we can actually salvage something from it. So we're back inside now, and I've just removed the root part from this plant, because that's where they get in. They climb the stem and then they start eating away the base of your cabbage, but gradually they'll work their way through the whole thing. And from a really big cabbage, I've just got that left. But it was my mistake, and if that's all I get, I'm lucky to get that at all. So we'll get this chopped up and see if we've got something out of it. So basically what I'm going to do is put cold water in the sink, and I'm going to add a good amount of salt and give that a good mix, and then we'll cut this cabbage in half. And at first glance, the inside looks perfectly fine, and I can't see anything more as well. But because there's so many little nooks and crannies in cabbages, you never know if something might have got in. So for the sake of saving a little bit of something, we'll cut this away. We don't eat that part anyway, because it's a really hard bit. And then I'm just going to cut it again, so we can separate every leaf. It's the only way to be sure. So we'll get all these separated up, and so far it does actually look quite clean. So although there's not a lot of cabbage there, if all's alright, there's plenty for a meal. And now we've done this to it, we can break it up a little bit more, and then we can blanch and freeze it. But before we do any of that, it's staying in that water for a good 10 minutes, just to make sure there's nothing at all that I've missed. As it turned out, the rest of the cabbage is perfectly fine. Nothing more came out of it, and we let it sit in that salt water for about 10 minutes. But I was very lucky that I spotted that, because it would have got worse and worse to the point where there was actually nothing left at all. And of course, because you've got a cabbage that's been eaten by slugs, it's leaving decaying material on the floor as well. So when they've finished, they'll just move on to the next one. So this afternoon's job is to take all that net off and go around every single plant and make sure all the bases are clean as well. Because if I don't do that now, and this happens again, next time I might not be quite so lucky as to get anything at all. So if you're growing brassicas and you're protecting them with these hoop tunnels with nets over the top like I do, just to keep that cabbage white butterfly from infesting your plants with little caterpillars that absolutely demolish everything that they touch. Don't forget about the upkeep and tidiness of your plants, because although the cabbage white butterfly can't get to your plants because of that netting, something else can, and you might not even see it happening. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And if you want to see what else we do over the next few weeks, then please just hit that subscribe button and press that notifications bell. And we'll see you on next update. You all take care.